Today in class we started out with measuring angles. So when we look at this angle, we need to find our vertex. So this is our vertex. Kind of think of it as a corner. Vertex. And our vertex will match up with this right here. So if you can see, there is a hole in the protractor. That is where your vertex matches up. And then these lines down here are to help you line it up with one of the sides. So we are going to line up our vertex with this hole right here, and then we are going to line up this side with the side of our triangle like this. So that's lined up right there. And then we are going to go diagonally up, and this is about 57 degrees. So if you'll notice, when you're measuring this and you go up, you'll see two numbers here. You'll see 120 and you'll see 60. Your job is to think, does it make more sense for this to be, let's just say it's 60, just 60 even. Does it make more sense for this angle to be 60 degrees or 120 degrees? This angle is less than 90 degrees. It's less than a right angle, so we know it's an acute angle, so it would have to be 57. And to name this angle, we do an angle sign. A, B, C. We can also name it angle CBA. The only thing is you have to remember it has to stay in order. You start at one end and get to the next. Let's do another one. Here's our vertex. We're going to line up the hole on our protractor with the vertex, and then we're going to line up this line with the line of our angle. We're going to follow this line straight up, and it's somewhere over here. And I have two angles there. I see 120 and 60. Well, this is an obtuse angle. It is more than 90, so I know I'm going to be using the bigger angle here, and we're going to say that this is pointing just below 120, so let's say 118 degrees. This is called angle JKL or angle LKJ. As long as it is in order, either works. Let's do another one. Here's our vertex. This is an obtuse angle. We know it's going to be more than 90 degrees. We line up our vertex and we line up our line with this line. We follow the other one up, and that's right at 130. And remember, we have 130 or 50, but this angle is obtuse. It is more than 90, so we know it's that 130. We can call this angle EFG or angle GFE. Let's do one more of these. Here's our vertex. This angle is an acute angle. We know it's less than 90 degrees. So let's line up our vertex and our line going this way. So now we follow this line straight up, and we're somewhere right here. We know it's less than 90, so we're going to use this smaller number, and we're at about 72 degrees. Okay, so that's our first skill, knowing how to measure using the protractor. There are four angles that we talked about today in class. Complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. Okay, this box right here means that this is a right angle, 90 degrees. So 60 plus 30 is 90 degrees. That's a complementary angle. A supplementary angle, two angles that add up to 180 degrees. Okay? So we have this line, and they go from here to here is 180 degrees. If you go all the way around, that's 360 degrees. So if you do a full spin and end up where you started, you've gone 360 degrees. A line is 180 degrees. So supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. So 135 plus 45 is 180 degrees. Complementary, supplementary. Vertical angles are two angles across from each other. And this is only when you have two intersecting lines. Okay, so you can have lines that look like this, you can have lines that look like this. Two intersecting lines, the angles opposite each other are the same. So this angle and this angle are the same. This angle and this angle are the same. That's what that means. Adjacent angles are two angles that are right next to each other. So they share a vertex and they share a side. So they share a vertex and a side. Okay, so those are the four main things that you need to remember for angles. Complementary is 90. Supplementary is 180. Vertical, two angles across from each other when there's two intersecting lines. And adjacent, two angles next to each other that share a vertex and a side. So now you might be given something that looks like this. This is a right angle, and I know that because of that square right there. So this is a complementary pair. This 55 and this x have to add up to 90. So 90 minus 55 will give us x, and that is 35. So x equals 35 degrees. I have another complementary pair that adds up to 90 degrees. So 90 minus that 74 will give me x. That's 16 degrees. So x is 16 degrees. Another complementary angle that adds up to 90. So 90 minus 67 will give me x, and that is 23 degrees. X is 23. And I can double check that because 67 plus 23 is 90. 55 plus 35 is 90. 74 plus 16 is 90. Now we're going to do examples with supplementary angles. Supplementary, they have to add up to 180 degrees. That's a line. A line is 180 degrees. So if this is 78, I'm going to subtract it from that 180 degrees, and I will get 102. X is 102 degrees. So 102 plus 78 is 180. Another supplementary angle pair here. So these two angles need to add up to 180. 180 minus 47 will get me x, and that is 133 degrees. Is x. 180 minus 165 will give me x, and that is 15 degrees. So 15 plus 165 is 180. Now I have vertical pairs, and I know that because I have two intersecting lines. And my rule with vertical pairs is that the two angles across from each other are equal. So y is across from 101. So y would also be 101 degrees. And if I want to find x, I can remember that this is a line. So this and this, or these two are on a line. But we're just going to look at these ones because this 101 is given to us. So these are on a line, and they have to equal 180 degrees. So I'm going to do 180 minus 101, and x equals 79 degrees. Okay? Vertical lines are vertical angles. So the lines across from each other, angles across from each other, are the same. B is 37 degrees. And I can look at these two. They are on the same line together. or I can look at these two. They're on the same line together. So 37 plus A has to be 180 degrees. So 180 minus 37 is 143. A is 143 degrees. Okay?